Still proud of all of them.
Cohesiveness.
You're part of the history of a college that's 170 years old.
A oneness.
You were able to do something that very few people were ever able to do.
A sense of depending on each other.
What a fantastic year and a great thrill winning the national championship on March 17, 1972.
A day of destiny, annihilating 5 opponents by an average of 15 points on their way to the college's first national championship. A few months earlier, the dream of winning it all was a lot farther away in the minds of the Maroons starting the 1971-72 season than the 534 miles to Evansville, Indiana. All-American Frankie Allen and his nearly 1,800 points were gone.
Arguably the best player in the history of Roanoke College graduating, and it's like, whoa, what are we going to do? And then I remembered it was like our first or second day of practice. I ran into Frankie. He was still around town, and he said, how they look? How y'all look? And I said, well, if we're in the top 4 in the Mason-Dixon, then we've had a good year.
Coach Charlie Moyer deployed a platoon of scorers, dangerous, sharing the ball, playing tenacious defense.
The 6th, 7th, 8th man that could come off the bench and fill in any spot, that we needed to fill. If Hal got in foul trouble or got tired, Dickie Adams came in and made some key points. Ross Robinson came in. He was just a freshman. He came in and made some key points. Larry Osborne came in to fill in for Everett Hurst. All of us did this thing together. I think it was the consistency of the whole team, playing as one unit.
Roanoke lost just 4 times that season, but 2 of those losses were back-to-back.
That was kind of a wake-up call for us that we may have gotten too complacent and too overconfident, and that we need to go back and work harder and give it our better effort.
Moyer's murderous Maroons would prove their point guard's preseason predictions wrong, beating 3 Mason-Dixon foes by a combined 47 points to cut down the nets and bring home the conference title.
We won the Mason-Dixon, and I think we were all just happy because we won the Mason-Dixon, much less we made it to the regionals. If our season would have ended then, we would have had a great season for what we had coming back to start the year out with.
Moyer's focus was unshakable, a trait his team found humorous at times.
My athletic supporter had broke, and so I went over to the coach and I said, Coach, my athletic board, my jockstrap broke. And he looked me right in the eye, he said, all right, he said, go in for Beatty. I said, Coach, I am Beatty. He said, oh.
I said, Beatty, get back in the ball game. You got to play. And I forgot we were playing in that particular ball game. Apparently it was very close, but we played until I could give him a break.
A case of mistaken identity would also follow the Maroons into the 36-team NCAA Men's Division II basketball tournament, a spectacle filled with super teams littered with superstars.
People don't realize in that tournament there were, I know, 3 first-round draft choices in the NBA. George Gervin, one that played for Eastern Michigan, and Tennessee State had 2 first-round picks that had great careers. Lloyd Neal played with Portland, and Truck Robinson played with several teams, and he was in the NBA about 17 years, I think.
So you got the best teams in the United States in one place, and had, little old Roanoke College. And that's even why today I love the underdog, because anything's possible.
The Maroons began tournament play relaxed and ready. They outscored their first 2 opponents by 8, and the 78-72 win over Mercer in the regional semifinals produced a shift in this team's thinking.
That might have been the first time I said, whoa, this is really something special. This team is something special. So that was the first time my gears clicked that how good are we, or how good can we be?
Good enough to dominate Missouri St. Louis and Eastern Michigan by a combined 50 points. The Maroons had reached the national championship game. Roanoke College faculty frantically caught flights to Evansville and joined the over 17,000 fans to watch their team battle Akron in the title game.
I told Coach Fox this. I said, you know, if we win this thing, you know, I need me a drink. I want a drink. He said, okay, Beat. He said, I tell you what, if you win, we'll get you a drink.
Akron had a good ball club. They were well coached, and we played extremely well against the University of Akron. I remember the coach said Dr. Wyatt Webb was their coach, and he was a good one.
But not as good as Moyer. He had led his team to a 23-4 record entering the tourney and now had won 4 straight in convincing fashion. His players were still not 100% sure they belonged.
Can you believe we're playing for the national championship? It wasn't, let's go out there and win the national championship. That didn't come about until more or less after we warmed up, came back in the locker room, and then it started, hey, we got this far, guys. Let's don't stop now.
The South Atlantic regional champs would test the waters against Akron.
We were staying up with them. We edged a little bit ahead, and then they'd come back. So it was sort of back and forth all the way up through the first half, as I remember.
Roanoke started to pull away in the second half as the team's confidence continued to grow and the game clock continued to shrink. The Maroons came to an epic conclusion.
I remember right at the end of the game, we was up by like 12 points. And I said, man, we're going to win this thing, man. I said, can you believe it? I said, I couldn't believe it, man. Number 1 in the whole nation, man, in a small college.
Dropped to my knees. I just dropped to my knees and I just said, I can't believe it. I can't believe we won the national championship. And that was the thought. Are you kidding me? We won the national championship. I was on my knees. Probably should have been praying, but I wasn't.
Hallelujah, as he was nicknamed, led the Maroons to the 84-72 victory over Akron and averaged 23 points in Roanoke's final 3 wins at Evansville, Indiana. The Andrew Lewis product became the college's first athlete to bring home first-team All-American honors after being named the tournament's most outstanding player. But Johnston and his teammates are quick to acknowledge who led them to the College Division National Championship. A man named AP Coach of the Year while sharing the 1972 NABC National Coach of the Year honor with UCLA's John Wooden.
I was more proud for Coach Moyer, you know, than I was for myself because, you know, he put a lot of work and a lot of time. And like I said, he was one of the coaches that you wanted to win for, you know, to get his, his feelings of feedback and all that. And I'm sure we made him proud. And that was the main point of it.
To me, great coaches have this, the personality. You sort of play to the personality that your coach is, and that's the way we were as a team. Coach Moyer wasn't a rah-rah. He'd give us a good talk, and he'd put the pressure on us. He'd put the heat on us when he needed to. He was just a very cool and calm, collected during the game, and consequently that carried over to the way we were as a team. That's the kind of coach Coach Moyer was. He was really a player's coach.
I thank him for teaching me integrity, the love of the game, more so than I had before, for his tenacious efforts in what he does. He believed in what he did, and it paid off.
The team landed in Roanoke to a hero's welcome as politicians, students, faculty, and fans mobbed the newly crowned champs.
I can't say enough about the importance of our fan base and the support that our fans provided us throughout that year. And I mean, I think our team played off of that. And we, not only were we trying to please our coach, but we were trying to please the fans too.
Letters poured in, one from President Richard Nixon and from the Virginia governor's office.
I didn't really see it that way so much at that time, but we were a reflection on the state of Virginia, and the fact that we had a lot of players on the team that were from Virginia. I think it made a lot of people extremely proud to be from Virginia and to have Roanoke College representing them, in the national championship.
40 years have passed since March 17, 1972, but the bonds between the players and coaches that earned Roanoke College its first national championship remains strong to this day.
Well, I love all those guys. They were terrific, a pleasure to coach, and I loved them then. I still love them now.
It is a confidence builder that if you can do that, sky's the limit. If you set your mind to it and if it's something you really want.
I think having a team that was great enough to win a national championship gave you the wherewithal to know Roanoke can accomplish anything.
People still come up to me today and talk about that 72 team. It's just amazing.
My years at Roanoke College were some of my best. We had good kids. I was here 6 years, and it was nice to win the national championship, but I certainly enjoyed my coaching time at Roanoke College.
We'll always have that feeling that we had in the locker room that year. We'll always have that feeling for each other for the rest of our lives. So we were all part of history, which is certainly very rewarding.